Welcome to our latest video on Python, and today we're actually going to learn how to draw with mouse clicks. So just going to go and create something here. So we're drawing with kinta, and there's a few things that we've seen before. First, we've seen the kinta module. For example, from kinta import all. This imports the kinta package into our program. The variable name equals tk, open brackets, close brackets. So we could have any name. Often people use root or first window or something like that. This creates a widget called variable name in this particular case. Variable name equals main loop, and this loops over the widget over the time, over and over and over, so we can see what's going on with it. Then things we've also seen before, we've seen that we can see the canvas. We've seen how to program the canvas. For example, my canvas is equal to canvas. See, that's got a capital C for canvas. And then you've got the variable name. So that would be going into whatever we called it. And the width in this case is 400 and the height in this case is 400. We've seen how to draw a line and an oval in a canvas, and here is the code to draw a line where it's x and then y, x and then y, and then so this is the coordinates on a particular spot, and this is the y coordinates, this is the x for the second coordinates, and the y for the second, and we're going to fill it with black, and it's going to have a width of 10. And then here is the oval where you've got x and y for the furthest to the left and x and y to the furthest and the y, and then it creates an oval in between. Of course, this one is filling the oval in white with an outline of black, where x and y are the coordinate pairs. Now, here are the new things that we're dealing with. We're collecting the variables from a button event. This is done by creating a program, binding an event and handler to the canvas. The syntax for this is as follows: my canvas dot bind, open brackets, inverted comma, and then you've got the less than symbol, button with a capital B, -1, greater than symbol, inverted comma, comma, and little program, close brackets. And this is where the my canvas is the name given to the canvas. Now this could be any name that we have assigned to the canvas. The bind joins the event in the program to the chosen canvas so that it executes whatever is programmed into the events that are about to happen. So the bind joins whatever we're about to program, so these things here, to the actual canvas. And the button one, this one here, is the left mouse click. It could also be, there's button 2, which is the middle wheel, and button 3 is the right click. And the little program is the handler, which is a program which we create which executes the button when it is clicked. So now let's have a look at what's going on here. So I'm going to create a little program, and the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to import the kinta package. So from kinta, import all, and the asterisk symbol is the import all button, isn't it? And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually call it my window. My window is equal to tk, and oops, shouldn't have a 0 in there. And we know that that actually brings in the widget, or creates the widget, and we're calling it my window. We could have called it root, we could have called it first window, we could have called it anything we like at that point. And then we need to loop that particular my window variable, or that particular widget. We need to loop it over and over again. So we go my loop, main loop. You notice how the method that I use for programming is always starting with the things and finishing those particular things. So what I've done there is I have main looped it, but at the moment I haven't packed it or gridded it into the system. So what I need to do is I need to put that inside the actual program. So my window dot pack or dot grid in this case. We'll go grid 0, 0. Okay, and that's just going to grid it into place. Or row 0, row equals 0, and column equals 0. Okay, so that's going to place that in there, and we can prove that. And you'll notice how whenever I run a program, I always follow through to check to see if the program is actually working, and we would expect this to occur. It's very important that we do this process, that whenever we create something, we just check that it's working. Okay? And so what we're going to do is, remember how we talked about the handler program? We're going to actually create the little handler program. That is the program that's going to run when we actually have the event happen. And so to do this, we need to define the program. And in this case, we're actually going to draw a line. So we're going to call it draw a line because it's a logical thing. And we're actually going to make the actual program return an event. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is, this is going to have an if statement and an else statement. And basically it's going to say like this: if we've already got x and y, then we need to get x2 and y2. Okay, so in order to do that, we've got to have this little program that'll be asking the program if that's already occurred. And the way we do that is we create a little, we're going to call it global. Okay, so it's a global variable, which will mean it'll move in this whole program. It'll move not just in this defined program, but it'll move throughout the whole program. And we're going to say click number. Okay, and we're calling it that. So we're going to get a variable called click number. We're also going to get a global variable called x1, and I've done lowercase x in this case, global y1. Now I could have changed this round and said capital X and capital Y, but you'll see in a moment I'm going to use those later on. Now, if the click number, see how it's come up here? If the click number is equal to, now is equal to is always two equals, because as soon as we say something equals this, it means to the program that it's to assign the value of that. So what we are doing is we're saying if the click number is equal to 0, then we're going to do something. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, x1 is equal to the event.x. And what this does is when we create a mouse click, the x variable, or the x value, is the variable, the value that it's across, and the y value is the value it is down. So event.x actually captures the x variable, or the x coordinate. And then we're going to say y1 is equal to event, so that same event, dot y. And that has now captured the Y value as well. Now, we're now going to change the click number, because we've done that, to 1, okay? And this time we're not putting a double equals there. We're just now telling it that click number is equal to 1. Now, then else, and I want you to notice with the else that the else is aligned perfectly with the if, and we need to do that, okay? And else, we're looking for x2 is equal to event.x. So now we're saying, well, if we've already clicked this, if we've already done this, then we're going to find the x2 value, and we're going to say that that is equal to the x, to the event x. And in this case, y2 is equal to event.y. And in this case, then, we would create our line. So to create a line, remember, we actually haven't created a canvas. We're going to call our canvas my canvas, okay? And we'll create that in a second. So my canvas dot create line. Stop. My canvas create line, open brackets, and with that, when you create a line, you always must need 4 values. You need the x and the y of the first coordinate and the x and the y of the second, and it creates a line in between. So in this case, it's actually x1, y1, and then x2, y2. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a fill value or fill color of red or whatever we like. And we're going to say the width of that particular line is going to be 10. Okay, so that will make a particular line of a particular size, of a particular width of that line. And then we're going to create that click number. We're going to say that click number is going to return to 0. Okay, and so that's our event. So this is our handler program, and it's called drawLine, and it's going to do all of those things. So it's going to capture the x and the y, and then it's going to capture the y and the z. Okay, and when we run this over and over and over again, it's going to create the x and the y and the of both of those. So now we actually need to create a canvas, and we're going to do that down below the TK down here. So we're going to go here, and we're going to create a canvas, and we're going to call it my canvas, just like we did up here. And it's a canvas, capital C for that, and then it's going to be in the My Window program, or the My Window widget, and its height's going to be 400, and the width is going to be 400, and it's going to have a background color of white. So far that's not doing anything. But what we've got to now do is we can bind this program to the mouse click event. So let's go down here, and we go My Canvas. So we've already created the My Canvas, right? Dot bind. And this will actually now bind whatever we're going to do to that actual canvas. And we're opening our brackets, and then we put an inverted set of commas. Then we put a less than symbol, capital B for button, a greater than symbol, -1, so that's the left click. And so it needs to look like that. We press a comma, and then we need to put the name of the program, which was drawLine. So I'm just going to grab that and put it in there. And this should run. So let's have a look and see what happens. Provided I haven't made a mistake with my coding, let's see what happens. It should run. Okay, so here is the widget, and if I click on here, it does nothing. But if I click over here, it creates the line. And I've clicked over here somewhere accidentally, and if I click back over here, it can draw that line. And if I click here and click here, it will join that line. So that is now working. That's pretty awesome. That's just the right click. Okay, so that's the first part of our program. What's the second part of our program? Well, what if we created a circle? If we want to create a circle, we're going to put that onto the middle button. So we're going to create a program that creates a circle. Now I'm going to quickly create that program here. So I'm just going to copy that program in here and show you what I've done. So this is exactly the same process, but this one I've called click number circle rather than click number. I've created a capital X and a capital Y, and so that's got to be different to this. Very important. Now if click number of circle is equal to 0, right, then we're going to create those events. So there is the X value. It's going to capture it to the capital X, and the Y value is captured to the capital Y, and then it's going to click the circle number to 1. Then, or else, we're doing exactly the same thing, but the difference with this code is this line here, right? And this is where we, in the My Canvas, we create an oval where capital X1 and capital Y1, capital X2 and capital Y2 are the coordinates, and it's going to go and collect those coordinates from these two things, and then it's going to fill it in white in this case, and the outline's going to be in black, and then it's going to change it back to 0. And now in the My Canvas, we go my underscore canvas dot bind, and this time I'm going to take the middle button, so that's -2, and the program is now called draw circle. So I'll just grab that from there, copy that in there, and it's got to be right there. Oh, I've put it before the comma, so let's just delete that and put the comma right there. Very important that you get it in the right spot. Now if I run this program, we'll see what happens. Okay, so I can still right click to create a line, but now if I use the middle button, I can select something and select something there, and it creates that circle or that oval. So I can still do the lines, and you'll see how it goes over the top of each of those, but it's still working. All right, there's one more thing that we're going to do. We're going to program a delete line. Okay, so it's going to delete all of these kinds of things as we go. And this is very, very simple, right? We're going to define a little event called delete lines. And again, it's an event. And this time we're going to say my canvas.delete all. So it's going to just delete everything from the canvas. And then we're going to assign that my canvas dot bind, and this one's going to be on the third button, which is the right click, and the program is called delete lines. Okay, now that should work. So let's have a look. Let's run this program. So we can still do the lines, we can still do the circles, but also now I can fully right click and it deletes it all. Right click. So that's our final program for today. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.